And so, only drivers that have really developed their performance potential of themselves can really show what you can do in time attack.
Even in like street class and even Sunday Cup and Club TR, the lower level classes, there's still an incredible amount of prep that goes into those cars. I think people really underestimate how much time people put into those vehicles.
And one of the challenges with the rule set is, as you move down from unlimited through the hierarchy, the number of rules increases.
Right.
And what that means is people typically have to spend more time thinking about what they're going to do to make their car better.
Basically, they spend more time thinking about how they're going to make your job more difficult.
Absolutely. In terms of scrutineering and rules design and things like that, the lower level classes are impossibly difficult.
Yeah.
Because there will be instances where people have thought of something that might be legal, but outside the intent of what we were trying to do or we hadn't thought of. It's really hard, and it's a challenge that is rewarding, because sometimes you see true innovation in the way that, when people talk about the golden age of motorsport in the 70s and 80s, you see some of that, where someone does something really unusual and unique and gets a performance benefit, and you're like, hats off, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
But then you start to see how those rule books evolved, and we ended up where we are with some of those pro racing classes.
Yep, it's challenging, right? Because especially in a live stream environment, let's talk about GLTC for a second. It's attractive and it's good for the competition when there is competition.
Right.
In time attack, it's a little bit different in that none of these cars on track are racing each other.
Right.
But that said, it's not that exciting when one car is 10 seconds faster than anyone else.
Right.
Decent number of cars on track, clustered in a bit of areas, which maybe we can talk a little bit about the inexperience in time attack, which is not really what you want unless you're truly looking to follow something.
Sometimes that helps, sometimes being able to chase somebody who's just a little bit faster than you, maybe see what they're doing differently, or give you something to just try and close a gap on, like, oh, I almost had him there, like I can push it a little harder. Sometimes that helps. So, but you got to be careful. You don't want to get too close. If things go wrong.
We've got the Sunday Cup train rolling around there. Those cars are so evenly matched that being like nose to tail is half the fun.
Right.
Right. Because if you can gap somebody by just a little bit, you know that you're going faster.
It's such a funny class to me, because you look at those times and you're like, well, that's not that impressive, but it really is.
It is.
Some of the times that they do is really, they're really rigging those cars out.
And some of the folks are really diving hard into data analysis to make those cars faster. And what I find really interesting, if you have Matt talk about data analysis in the Sunday Cup in his spec fit, it's challenging because you have to do everything you can to be absolutely perfect, because you don't have any horsepower to correct for a mistake.
Right.
And so if you brake too hard into a corner, that extra braking can cost you speed on the next 4 to 5 corners.
See, that exists no matter the horsepower level. I think it's just more pronounced, and I think it's important. So if you put Matt in a car that has 500 horsepower, but he's used to being really critical about those things, he's going to be faster in that one too.
Maybe. I think driving a 500 horsepower car is hard.
It is hard, but it's not like you can push the gas harder and go faster to make up that time I just lost in the corner.
Little touch on the tires here. It looks like RSX.
Oh no.
Looks like we'll probably black flag this session here in just a minute to bring this car in.
Definitely not what we want to see.
If I had to guess, that's probably turn 5.
There's too many corners, man. This track is so hard to figure out. So
I'm told this is the Mobile 1 corner, which I believe is turn 5, right after the... Got it. So, high speed area. I mean, cars going through this area are probably going about 100 miles an hour, I would say. So it's a high risk, high reward area for sure. If you remember from the show yesterday, that's one of those corners that gives me the willies.
That's fair. This course certainly has a lot of high speed, high risk, high reward areas.
Absolutely.
So,
and some of these corners are challenging in that, there is a corner here called Deception. I believe that's turn 12, where it looks much faster than it actually is. He and I were up kind of late. We were just chilling out, doing podcasts with people and doing our thing.
So you talked him into a podcast or two then, huh? No?
We always have
He was putting up a fight.
To do a bunch of shows at an event, and it never, ever works.
Yeah, we gave up on it.
Like, I bring my stuff, and I try very hard because it's the time where everybody's at the same place.
Right.
But it never works out.
No. It's easier to just make the connection and then hook up with them remotely.
Oh, that's absolutely true. So, Time Attack C rolling out on track. I think that's Jason Owens rolling out in Club TR in the Civic SI.
It's really amazing to me how quickly that class just exploded. Like, this is literally the first event.
I think the number of entries is like 8 to 10.
It's
which
impressive.
Is fantastic.
Because there's a lot of, I can think of 3 or 4 builds that are not here for that class.
Ben Thorne,
Yep.
Gears and Gasoline, has kind of a high-profile build for this class, and should be pretty close to the pointy end. Sophisticated aero performance of any kind. Probably basic bolt-ons, I would say, but cars between 225 and 230 are going to be typical.
So, my friend Dalton Klein's out there right now. I know he's really hoping to get out of the 230s this weekend. That 238's definitely not going to do it. Must have been in traffic or that car's starting to fall away, one of the two. But that's kind of been his target all weekend, is getting out of the 230s and into the high 220s. So.
Gotcha. And so I talked with your buddy Ryan Seiler a little bit about reviewing data and whether or not it was something that he was doing.
Not much.
I think that's what you got to do.
So Dalton is, for the first time at any event he's been to, he has data in the car this weekend.
Good.
And I know him, and that's the car that's being double driven in beginner as well. And him and our friend who's driving it in the beginner session spent a decent chunk of time last night just poring over that. It's the first time he's used it, so it's also kind of learning how to use it and what it's teaching him. But at the same time, he's also learning where he could. It was nice that they had 2 cars because despite the fact that he's a beginner, there were sections where our friend was actually faster in certain sectors on the track. And so that gives Dalton the opportunity to look at it and go, what are you doing different from me in the same car?
Sure. Well, I think this needs to be a shout out to one of our buddies and longtime supporters of Gridlife, Luke McGrew, in that I've never seen anyone be so disciplined and regimented about reviewing data immediately after a session is over as Luke.
Yeah.
Luke has a TV display in his trailer and a laptop running, and the second that he gets out of his car, he goes straight to the computer and plugs into data immediately after every session. And I don't think many drivers do that, but I would tell you that Luke is always getting faster.
That's a name missing from the roster this weekend, is it not?
He's here.
Oh, is he? Okay.
I think he was a little bit off pace in GLTC this weekend. I hope it's not a motorish.
It always is, isn't it?
It's always a motorish.
Should have just kept the Viper and stayed in Time Attack.
It's weird to say, but the Viper is more reliable.
So, it's amazing that just in the last few years how much easier data has got to review and look at between sessions.
Absolutely.
The Solo, as good as it is, was difficult in getting that information off of it and stuff like that. Whereas some of these new products like Apex Pro and the Garmin Catalyst, they're right there in your hands.
And certainly HP Tuners as well has some products.
Oh, that's right.
Immediately available, kind of data at your fingertips.
Yes.
In being able to use the data you need right now is a key element to the success of a product like that. And I think being able to use those and turn what a product like Track Addict is telling you into action on the course is a key step for drivers.
Something like Track Addict that's on your phone like that would have been great when I was autocrossing.
Sure.
Because it's all like data that's not readily, quickly available. It's all but useless then.
Yeah.
Because
especially
if I can't look at it between
those,
runs,
yeah,
it's not useful to me.
Well, especially if you're the kind of competitor that may not travel with a laptop to the track.
Well, even if you are, that time is not there in autocross because you're either in the staging lanes waiting for your next run or you're on the course working, most likely.
That's true.
And so there's no time to, during those transitions, to look over data. And if you're not going to look at it day of, it's not useful.
That's true. Absolutely.
So,
got a few. It's car number 139. I believe that's a Sundae Cup car. Team Brap.
I think Team Brap is an RX-7. But maybe not.
No, Sundae Cup.
No, he's chasing.
249. Yep. Off the pace there a little bit compared to Matt Williams and crew.
Yeah.
Turns out it's hard to go fast.
It's very hard. It's very hard to go fast, like, just in general.
Fast time for the session is Ethan Bailey with a 2:24.696. And then I'm going to have fun saying this. Barry Ehrenschwender, quick with a 2:26.4.
You're a brave man.
And Tom Halka, dad on crew, 2:27.818. We appreciate the support of Josh and Tom. Always out here having fun.
I love that they're double driving time attack now. That's so cool.
It's wild.
I love it though.
It's so hard on the car.
I mean, sure, but it's not any more hard than it was in HPDE.
So I learned a little bit. You know how much I love Subaru time attack cars.
Yeah.
I learned a little bit that the number of times that they've done head gaskets in that car is many.
It's too easy a joke to make. It's too easy.
So checker here on this session. Again, not too many improvements. Ethan Bailey running a 2:24, which is an improvement on his best from earlier in the session, 2:26. So congratulations to him, but kudos to all the drivers coming out and supporting the series. And so I think this is just about time now to wrap up the time attack section of the broadcast as we make our way toward the GLTC race. We would like to thank our partners for this broadcast, Falcon Tire. Falcon Tire's competition-proven performance.
Yeah. So the dome there for the National Corvette Museum, that's where the sinkhole is.
Is that right?
Yeah, that inside of that dome. They have a window on the floor that you can look down and see the cave below you.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How deep is this sinkhole?
Apparently it's 40 feet to the bottom.
That's right. It's Time Attack's Group C rolling out on track right now. I've never been to the museum. I figure I should probably go.
Like I said, it's worth 30 minutes to someone who's not like a die-hard Corvette guy.
Okay.
We kind of wanted. There's a few of the race cars, which is really what we were after, essentially. But there's a few of those cars, and it was cool to kind of see the sinkhole and learn the story. I mean, the museum really embraced that situation.
I mean, it was in the news, right?
It's a huge
bit
deal.
of pop culture.
Yeah. They really embraced it. There's a whole area about what happened and how it formed, and it's fascinating to me that cave existed underneath that building and nobody knew about it.
It's weird
because it's been there. I mean, they talk about this cave's been forming for 225 million years or whatever the number was. Like, it wasn't like a sinkhole opened up underneath that. It was there, and it's incredible to me. The geography in this area must be.
The cave was like, man,
strange.
I was here first.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat these cars.
The windows you can look down are actually on a door, and you can open them. I mean, it's locked, obviously, but I would kill for the opportunity to go down there. I think it'd be so cool.
You like both high highs and low lows?
That just sounds fascinating to me. I don't know.
No way.
It's super cool.
Now I remember a few cars were damaged at that time. Were
some of them
were
they
those
fixed,
cars?
some of them they didn't, and they're all on display still.
Okay, cool.
So you can see them all in either in restored condition or in the condition they came back out of.
Which was like covered in mud, right?
Yeah, there's one that it got smashed lengthwise, right? So it like landed on its side, and then another car fell on top of it.
So also Joseph King, who was absolutely wheeling the Festiva yesterday.
Yes, absolutely.
We haven't seen him on track much on the broadcast, but it is fun to see a Festiva three-wheeling around the track.
I talked to him for a while last night, and he was kind of talking about, like, oh, to get this car competitive, like in Sundae Cup, I've got to swap an engine that only makes 80 horsepower, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's so funny to me. The thought of like losing power, to 80 horsepower, because the car with him in it only weighs like 1,900 pounds.
Jeez.
And so, in order to meet the 25-to-1 power to weight ratio, he really has to cut the power, and that's just not something he's quite swallowed
ready
that
to do.
pill
Yeah.
to do yet.
I guess the other option is to add some weight, but there's
so hard to
practical
do in those
limitations
cars.
for how much weight you can add and where you can
it's
add
really difficult to do that in his car.
I think that was one of the challenges with the third gen or the most recent generation of Fit, is that they make so much horsepower that to make the car compliant by only adding weight was impossibly difficult, because it was like 400 pounds.
Oh, see, that crests a point where it's no longer safe.
Yeah, that's like, you'd be better off putting 2 crash test dummies in the car.
Right. That much weight, is hard to bolt down and keep safely planted in the event of an accident.
Absolutely true.
So
car number 139, Team Brap. That's another Sundae Cup competitor.
Yeah.
Love those cars. Let's see Matt Williams roll through here in just a minute. I believe that the Sundae Cup times are right around 2:38. Let's see.
He just ran a 2:36. Matt did, so
good for him.
Moving
That's
right
Matt
along.
Williams. Great. So it looked like he had an unofficial time, probably a transponder issue from the last session. 2:37.290. So able to improve still. 2:36 in his Fit is wheeling.
Yeah, it's moving.
And has able to gap his next nearest competitor, Michael Smith, by almost a couple of seconds now.
That's incredible.
Man, that
Absolutely
guy
incredible.
can drive.
Yeah, that's putting that much time on your competition in that class is a real feat.
Yeah, and it's so funny, right? Because this class, I don't want to say this class started as a gag, but like it exists.
It kind of did.
It kind of did, and like then Matt was like, "No, this sounds fun. I'm gonna do this."
Yeah.
But like I'm gonna compete, and he brought a level of competition that we hadn't seen in Sundae Cup before, and now it's a thing. Where if you're trying to chase Matt's times, you have to drive the wheels off of one of those cars to be able to do it.
Yeah. But then Matt will use it to take his kids to daycare on Monday.
That's true.
So.
And I can tell you that a spec Fit with a straight pipe is the silliest sounding thing, because it's even with that, it's not loud. You can hear it, kind of. And it's just this tiny engine, super reliable, easy to drive thing.
Are those 1.6s? Is that what that
I
is?
think that's right.
Okay.
I can tell you that you can't be more than 90 miles an hour on the back straight of genuine.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. We're not doing 140s in those. It's a
Definitely
different,
not. So that looks like a substantial improvement, about 1.6 seconds over his PB from the last session.
That's awesome. Seeing him get more comfortable out there and just getting faster.
Yeah, the weather playing to these people who stick around for that last session.
Yeah. Thank God too. It was real touch and go there. I swear I felt a sprinkle or two earlier today.
Absolutely.
Like over the lunch break. And,
yeah, it was just kind of like a cloud rolling through here or there. It didn't really look like it was going to rain substantially, but maybe it was just enough.
It's kind of like PPIR, where it's like it might rain today, but it might not, and you don't have
you're not
any way of
gonna know.
knowing
Yep.
until it happens.
Being at Pikes Peak or in that area is very strange because like storms coming around the mountain is just a thing that happens, and it's like a finger snap when it shows up and when it disappears.
Yeah.
So, couple of other cars on track. Let's see. Joseph King, did he improve 233, 197? Yes, he did.
Awesome.
Improved by about a second.
Awesome. Wow.
Congratulations to Joseph. And Peter Zhang, who's driving a BRZ for this event, 232.4. Is that an improvement? Sorry, I'm kind of looking up things here. Thanks for filling the dead space for me there, Adam.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry. It's hard to do.
I don't know if that's an improvement for him or not. It looks in Club TR, Peter Zhang's running a 229.8, so a little bit off there for him. Looks like we're about 10 minutes in, not too many cars left on track. A few drivers probably just taking some cool down laps here. A couple of fits out there having some fun.
Yeah. Did you take any ride-alongs this weekend?
I did not get in a car. I brought my stuff, but I didn't even get in a car.
You didn't bring your car either, did you?
I didn't.
Have you procured a towing solution?
I have a dolly. I bought a dolly from Matt Williams last year.
Right. I
And
remember
it's
that now.
excellent. But we've got Track Day Picnic coming up, and I will undoubtedly drive at Blackhawk because it is my favorite place to drive.
Okay. So I've basically been talked into that at this point.
Yeah, it's excellent.
In a very short period of time, I went from I'm not sure to you're going. Like, okay, fine, I guess I'm going. So I think I can do that one without taking time off, which is
that'll work really well
for me.
Just kind of show up late on Friday and make it a thing.
I might even roll in early Saturday.
Yeah, that would work.
I've done that at Autobahn before as well.
And typically we do kind of an unofficial standing start time attack event there. I mean, they call it standing start autocross, and it's one of the few places that I know that just does that. That's an absolute thing that they do. And if my memory is right, Andy Smedegard is the for a flying lap.
For a flying start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
I'm gonna try and find this standing start record.
That's hilarious.
So, who else on track improving here? Peter Zhang able to take a little bit of time off for his best from the session, but no improvement overall for him. And Tom Hulka with a 226.1, like we said before, is a PB by a large margin compared to his previous session.
So it seems the fuel pump we swapped between time attack sessions was not the solution to my friend Ryan's Club TR car.
What a tough break. He battled all weekend to try and get
where he needed to be.
Yep.
So I think he's still going home with a podium finish, which is incredible, but it's funny because it's still disappointing.
Yep. Yep, it's absolutely true.
Because even if he was still third, but he put on his best showing, that would feel better.
Absolutely true. Because it's so frustrating. It's always I get that, but folks like ASM can do it faster and better and cheaper than you can.
I don't know if he can do it cheaper.
Well, I mean you know how expensive it is to come to an event and not get it to work the way you want?
But we thought we had it sorted, so is what it is.
Tough break, but checker flag now out on track. Congratulations to all the drivers and everyone who made this production possible. We want to thank every one of the sponsors who help us produce this awesome event. First and foremost, we want to thank Falcon Tire. Falcon Tires, competition proven performance.